The rain battered the alleyway, streaking down rusted fire escapes as sirens wailed in the distance. Nia Coleman stood over Officer Travis Maddox, her boot pressing into his chest, his badge glinting in the mud. Blood oozed from a cut on his temple, collateral from the blow he'd landed in her kickboxing class, a demonstration that turned into an attack. But Nia flipped it on him, humiliated him. "You'll pay for this," he spat, his voice thick with rage and something colder, promise. Rewind. The community gym sat tucked in the forgotten edge of Atlanta, its faded cinder-block walls echoing with the energy of 8 teens, punching and kicking under Nia's instruction. Sweat and purpose filled the humid air. This wasn't just exercise. It was survival training, discipline, therapy. Then the door burst open. Officer Maddox stepped in like a storm cloud, his presence swallowing the space. Boots stomping, hand twitching near his baton, eyes scanning until they landed on Nia. Not the kids, just her. "We got a noise complaint," he said, voice laced with disdain. "You people can't keep it down." Nia didn't flinch. "We're within our hours. Permits posted." Maddox didn't look. His sneer deepened. "Looks more like a gang meeting." The word hit like a slap. One of her students, Jamal, tensed behind her. She raised her hand, a silent command. "Stay calm." "This is a self-defense class," she said. "Community run. Legal." He stepped closer. "Teaching him how to fight cops, huh?" Then his legs snapped out. A hard kick to her ribs. The gym froze. Nia staggered, pain flashing hot. But instinct took over. She pivoted, absorbed the blow, spun low, and swept his legs. Maddox hit the mat with a thud, dust rising around his crumpled form. Phones appeared like magic. She flipped him. Jamal yelled. Maddox scrambled up, red-faced and furious. "You're done, girl," he hissed, but cameras were rolling. Red dots blinked in the gloom. Nia stood tall, chest heaving. "You don't put your hands on me. Not here. Not ever." Jamal uploaded the video. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag justice for Nia. Hashtag racist cop takedown. Maddox called for backup, muttering resisting arrest, though he'd thrown the first kick. His smile, cold and knowing, unsettled her more than the pain in her ribs. "You think this is over?" he whispered. "You just started a war." Then he was gone. That night, the video went viral. Nia sat in her dim apartment, ice on her ribs, the screen glowing with thousands of shares and messages. Her kids flooded her inbox with screenshots, their pride obvious. Still, beneath the praise, the darker voices crept in. Anonymous threats, coded slurs, and warnings WY morning. The gym overflowed. Kids she'd never met watched her shadow box, eyes wide. "You really dropped the cop?" one whispered. "I stood my ground," Nia answered. Then Lena Ortiz arrived, sharp-eyed, relentless. "That cop's got a record," she said, flipping open a notebook. "Force complaints. Buried by the precinct. I want to run the story." Nia hesitated. Maddox's threat echoed in her head. But the kids behind her, the bruises on her side, the rage in her chest, they pushed her forward. "Do it," she said. Within hours, the story hit local news. Maddox was suspended pending investigation. Footage aired in every bodega, every barbershop, every living room. Reporters cornered him outside the precinct. He shoved the mic aside, face twisted with fury. That evening, Nia gathered her students. "We got him off the streets," she told them, voice steady but cautious. "You helped do that." They cheered. But inside, she knew it wasn't over. That night, someone slashed the gym's tires. Spray-painted liar across the wall. Still, the kids showed up the next day. Bigger crowd. Tighter resolve. They believed in her. And she wouldn't let fear win. A week passed. Then Lena's investigation uncovered a pattern. Maddox had ties to a small militia group, one with connections to officers in nearby precincts. Quietly tolerated. Occasionally protected. Nia's takedown didn't just bruise his pride. It cracked open something bigger. Something dangerous. One night, Nia returned home to find her apartment door slightly ajar. She entered slowly. Nothing broken. But on her counter sat a single object. Her old Army dog tag, which she hadn't seen in years. It had been missing since she left service, and it wasn't in her apartment when she left that morning. Cheers erupted, fists pumped, and Jamal threw an arm over Nia's shoulders. "Told you, coach. He's toast." Laughter bounced off the peeling gym walls. Soda fizzed in cheap cups, and greasy pizza boxes scattered the floor. The bruises on Nia's ribs ached, but it felt distant, like it belonged to another life. Tasha, ever the performer, turned the moment into rhythm, freestyling as her braids whipped in rhythm. Cop came in hot, full of rage and hate. Nia dropped him clean, checkmate. Nia chuckled, her defenses slipping for the first time in weeks. That laughter, it wasn't polite or strained. It was real. For the first time, it felt like the system had blinked. Maddox was suspended. The community stood behind her. Justice, though fragile, had whispered her name. As midnight crept in, the gym thinned. Hugs, high fives, and parting calls faded into silence. Nia stayed behind, mopping sweat from the mats and wiping down benches. The last slice of pepperoni sat cold in the box by the door. She flicked off the lights, tossed her gym bag over her shoulder, and stepped outside. The industrial district lay silent, bathed in darkness. Then a crash. She froze. Another crash, sharper this time, followed by the unmistakable sound of shattering glass. Her heart ceased. She turned slowly. The gym's front windows had exploded inward, jagged teeth of glass hanging from the frame. Her sanctuary, her pride, violated. 3 bricks lay on the floor inside, each one spray-painted with slurs. White letters screamed across the rubble. "Go back where you came from. Thug coach. You're next." But it was the paper, crumpled and wedged beneath the heaviest brick, that chilled her. She picked it up with trembling fingers. The handwriting was jagged, pressed hard into the page. "Suspension won't stop me. This is just the beginning." The air vanished from her lungs. Her hands went clammy. A car door slammed in the distance, and her head whipped around. Nothing, just shadows and the echo of her own fear. She stepped back inside, shutting the door, locking it, even though the gaping windows made it meaningless. She stood amid broken glass and half-empty soda cups, the smell of garlic and sweat still lingering. Her phone buzzed in her hoodie pocket. Elena, the precinct's stonewalling. Maddox has friends in high places. Please be careful. Nia stared at the screen. Her throat dried. She had thought Maddox's suspension was the end. It was barely the beginning. He hadn't been just humiliated. He'd been provoked. She walked the gym floor slowly, stepping over shards, each crunch beneath her sneakers a reminder. She was still a target, still prey. The victory had been a spark, too bright, too fast. Now the blowback was here. She sat on the edge of the training bench, gripping the letter. This wasn't random vandalism. It was personal, a warning, a declaration of war. Maddox might have lost his badge, but he hadn't lost his reach. The walls felt thinner now. The cheers from earlier echoed like ghosts. The laughter, the rap, the joy, it all hung suspended in time, a relic of when she believed she'd won. A breeze drifted in through the shattered glass, and she shivered despite the June warmth. Her ribs throbbed as she leaned back, clutching the letter, breathing through the panic. He knew where she worked. He knew when she'd be alone that he wasn't finished. A sudden noise outside, the soft pad of footsteps, then silence. Nia rose, moving to the door, peering out. Nothing, but her instinct screamed. This wasn't over. It was escalation. Her military training kicked in. Scan, assess, reinforce. She slid benches across the doors. Not much, but something. She needed to send a message back. She wouldn't be run off. Not by Maddox, not by anyone hiding behind broken windows and hate. She opened her notes app, typing fast. Security cameras. Front and back. Motion lights. Lockbox for emergency phone. Then she added, call the press again. Show the damage. Show them everything. Let the world see. Let them know the cost of standing up. Another message from Elena came through. Don't be alone. Tonight's proof he's still dangerous. I'm coming over. Nia started to type back, but paused. A glint of light caught her eye across the lot under the street lamp. A dark sedan, idling, watching. She didn't move, didn't blink, Then the car pulled away. Her heart beat against her ribs, raw and electric. She had to stay 2 steps ahead. This wasn't just about her anymore. Her students, her community. If they saw her flinch, they'd flinch too. She stood tall. Maddox thought fear would silence her. But fear was fuel. She swept the glass into a bin. Her eyes landed once more on the message. This is just the beginning. She didn't doubt it, but she was ready. Now it's your turn to you believe Nia should go public again, despite the danger? Drop a like in the comments if you stand with her. Subscribe, because the next twist in her story is one no one's prepared for. And tell us, where are you listening from? Your voice matters in this fight. The battle is far from over. And Nia? She's just getting started.